In this interview, we speak with Trina Johnson. Trina is the cannabis retail store operator of Blue Forest Farms that recently opened at 122 East 25th Street in Manhattan. They opened up right on 420, and they were the first cannabis retail store to open in the state of New York. I wanted to hear how she did it, what challenges she faced, and what advice she has for others.
Well, I'm from Boulder, Colorado, just a little bit more organic chiropractor lifestyle and really family oriented, and have used cannabis for a long time and really happy about that movement happening in Colorado. And then when we heard about CBD, it just something really resonated for me. And at the same time, the largest certified organic farmer in Colorado for produce wanted to grow as well. And we just connected really well. I'd always made a lot of money online, and he was gonna grow, and we did our first grow in 2017. And it was more than we could have ever expected, and amazing, you know, and just like kind of getting into the whole industry around more health and wellness. Then we decided we were going to make our own genetics, developed a whole genetic program, and had the lab also, and started our retail line. We've been big online, and then came to New York 3 years ago when New York passed the most progressive cannabis laws in the country, and just thought it was time to be something here, and started our first retail store.
How have you found the regulatory framework for cannabis licensing in New York compared to other states?
I think it's been difficult. A little. I know everyone's trying to be so intentional and wants to support the history of cannabis and who has made a difference and carried a lot of the injustice and the whole industry forward. And I love that about New York. And also, it's held up, you know, a lot of people in ways and their business and profitability taking this long, but we're super happy where we are at this moment.
Okay. Tell me about what your journey looked like, you know, finding the store, opening the store, and getting your final approval.
Right. Well, it's interesting because we thought we were going to get a license at another location at the last, and we were happy to be in the expedited. And a lot of consulting companies were calling. We wanted to be really intentional about how we submitted our licensing and use an expert, and just really connected with CannDelta. And knew you guys were the one, and we were gonna get through together. At the last minute, we did have to find another license or another lease, another space, and that was fun. And we found an amazing space and a great landlord, and we pulled a lease together to submit in the expedited submission timeframe. And that was in December. And March, we were awarded our license, the first of 25 in Manhattan.
So being one of the first, or being the first retail cannabis dispensary that opened up from the general application window, what would you say the key was to being one of the first to market? What were some of the main drivers that got you here?
Well, I can only say that, you know, we're a professional team, and I think that makes a big difference. And working with you guys, really professional also. Everyone I worked with was amazing and great, super on it. We had everything done, you know, just right, and it's a lot. Like, the application is a lot, all the regulations is a lot, and just the back and forth and making sure that we were super tight on what was submitted on time. There was a lot of back and forth to questions that needed to be answered with the OCM, and you know, just the fact that we were always on it, always available, and I think that just makes a huge difference when you're dealing with maybe other companies that aren't submitting the responses in a timely manner or don't have everything together. And
so when you were putting your application together, you, at the very last minute, at the last hour, signed a lease on this location.
We did.
How much did luck have to play in with everything coming together for you, or did it?
I mean, I don't really believe in luck. I believe in divinity.
Okay.
So everything's for you, and it just happened that way. Of course, sometimes it's last minute, sometimes it's always right on time, and it's cool. Like this, our landlord is great, and we're actually talking about doing some other things together, like a consumption lounge, and he has other properties, and I don't know, knowing him, I'm not sure one other landlord could have gotten a lease together, like literally in 24 hours.
Right.
It was amazing. Yeah.
Right. I've signed commercial leases before, and that process, I remember taking months.
Oh, everyone told me. We had like 3 weeks, and everyone was like, there's no way you're never gonna do it, you know, and it's meant to be, and that was actually, you know, your referral too. We worked with a few realtors, and then you guys recommended CannDelta, and he's the one that found the space, so it was your referral.
Wow. Okay.
And after that too, just like you guys are so pro, you know the industry, I was just like, I'm gonna trust CannDelta all the way. And so we've gone with almost all of your referrals. They've been great. Our lead, Lauren, I just can't say enough about how amazing she is, and just like her beautiful, professional, precise communication, especially in writing, such a good skill. And so yeah, I forgot that Daniel Khan found our spot. Super cool guy, worked so hard too. Because you can imagine that moment in time, right? There was only that 1 month that everyone had to find a lease to get in this expedited phase. And he was working so hard, and we were working with other vendors, and he was so cool about it. He knew what was happening, and then we ended up coming back to the first space we looked at.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back through it, what would you say was actually the biggest obstacle at launching a store and getting it open and approved?
It was a little difficult because we were in the first group of adult use regulatory license coming online, and so there wasn't that final process. We were awarded, and then there wasn't a lot of information out at that moment on what is the final steps needed. And one of the things that I would tell everyone, I was a little caught off guard. I thought our security system that we had budgeted for was going to be great, and it's wireless and works amazing. Well, there's some criteria and requirements that wasn't the case. And so even that though was perfect, because the person that we had to get to, it kind of blew the budget, which was unexpected. Right. But also the guy that was coming in to network everything, he had just been at 6 different locations that were coming online, and so knew the process. That started really pushing, and then we got the requirements. We were able to finally submit for final approval, and the final approval wasn't that bad. It wasn't. Our experience only has been amazing with the OCM. We were really trying to hit the open date for 4/20 and just have our doors, and we did. And they did everything they could for us. They really wanted to support our opening day, and that felt amazing, for sure.
What was the most expensive thing in setting up a cannabis retail dispensary?
There's a couple, but you know, in the future it might not be so affecting, but we had to pay rent for several months, you know, while we were waiting. And the landlord was super cool. That was another part of finding a space and a landlord that are reasonable on, okay, there could be this X amount of time that you're gonna hold the space without knowing if you're even gonna get the license. So he was very accommodating in that way for the budget, holding the space. I would say the most was the security. It kind of blew. It was unexpected, and probably the biggest chunk. If you see our stuff, we like more of a lifestyle vibe, and we use this used furniture place online, and things like super high-end, like $5,000 chair for $400, and so our space just looks really high-end, and I'm surprised. I mean, we did this, like, and it's an amazing space.
If you were to go through the process all over again, starting from scratch, what would you do different?
We would have opened maybe, but it's all perfect. There's nothing. I feel so connected to the team we use with CannDelta and the time frame. I mean, it couldn't have happened any faster. We submitted in December, we're awarded in March, and I've heard that we're the first open of that group of 25 too. We were ready to move after that, and I think it helped too, just we had an understanding of a retail store. We were training people already to be online. That was a little bit too, you're like spending the budget on training to be able to open, but we're here and it's beautiful and we're having an amazing time, and we're really about just showing everyone the lifestyle of cannabis and plant medicine and choosing. I mean, it's high-end, it's the new way, it's organic.
What has the impact been on the community? How have sales been?
Yeah, great. I think we've seen sales way better than coming online on another location, and I think that everyone has been so supportive. They're looking for this, and there's a lot of different like unlicensed stores, even like 8 on our block, but it's really not the same customer. It's not at all. Our neighbors, we say we're best friends, is Newhouse. Super cool, high-end workspace, amazing food, drink, the vibe. It's always popping over there. We've become best friends, and like that's our clientele, you know, and people that want to make a conscious choice. And we tell everyone that comes in the door, like, we're from Colorado and we know how the cannabis needs to hit, and only choosing the best vendors here, have the first ingrown indoor flower, also in New York. So and
who's that?
That is Dank.
Dank?
Yep. And bunch others are, because they just changed the laws. And then just every vendor we've worked with too has been so amazing, so cool, so happy to be here. And you know, that has been one of the biggest things, I would say, just how it's been so stalled. And that's really affected vendors and manufacturers. They haven't been able, it messed up their pipeline and what they've been doing too. So it's cool that everyone's so happy to, you know, make moves.
What kinds of products are moving the fastest off the shelves?
It's pretty equal between the edibles, the vapes, the flower. I would say, I mean, pre-rolls, we always like, and then, well, that's another thing I'll mention too, is that, you know, we're a CBD company at heart, and we feel that dispensaries are just like missing the mark a lot on adding CBD. It's a huge seller and it goes hand in hand. I mean, you can convert almost all THC users to CBD for different reasons. It's more for sleep, you know, it can relax. I mean, I love THC too. I smoke all day, but I know there's just benefits you're getting on the more health and wellness side. It's cool too. So we love cross sales, especially over here, because people aren't really expecting that. And we always offer them to try any of the CBD while they're here, because we know 8 out of 10 times, like, they come back. It really works.
Aside from Dank, what other manufacturers or cultivators are worth a little shout out for how well they've been doing in the store?
Sure. So Urban Extracts is amazing. We actually visited their facility. I can't remember where, but super cute town, like an hour out. They converted an old jail to their extraction lab. I mean, you can't even, like, nothing better than that, right? And then I love Fernway. Fernway is like, I'm really particular about vapes. I can't do edibles. I just can't, but their Fernway vapes are amazing. Everybody's like Ruby Farm. Just like super cool brands, everyone. Jaunty, Popular Gummies. I really like the 1906. It's a great microdose. So even I can do that. And there's putting different cannabinoids and just creating these different intentional blends that may be like more for the day or for work, and yeah.
What is next for Blue Forest Farms?
I mean,
World
I think
domination, expansion, 3rd, 4th, 5th stores.
Yeah, we would love that. We would. We would love to seize this moment in New York. There's, New York is just not like every state where there's tons of locations and land available in terms of the restrictions and whatnot. So that would be amazing. We actually have a fun meeting right now after today with another license holder, and just maybe looking at other states too that are coming online and what that could look like. We have an amazing team, and it does feel like this is the moment, and being part of a leader in terms of just like plant medicine in general and those different plants, and when that comes online. And New York is making a lot of progress there, just like Colorado and Oregon.
One of the things I've really liked about your brand and what you folks have been doing is that you're really at the intersection between health and wellness and plant medicine.
Right.
How did you get along that journey? What started you down that path?
I just CBD always resonates for me. I have an autoimmune. I was always self-medicating with THC and cannabis, but really realized I could never sleep. I was always moody. I could not lose the weight for my 3 kids. I had terrible psoriasis. I always just know what it's done for me. Killed my metabolism literally in under a year, all of those things. And I'm just such a happier person using 9 of my products a day. And I think that's amazing too. I always wanted to have a skin line, and then I realized you have a whole line. And then being able to be on the cannabis side too, and just bringing it on more as this lifestyle. And it goes further down. The heart of our company is really about making an impact on humanity and the planet, and then profitability, and what, when you feel better, when you're just more balanced, when your stress response is being managed, that spills out, to you go home to your wife, then your kid is nicer to the dog, then they're having more, treating the teacher at school the next day, and it literally pours out into the community. And we can't even imagine ways. I always think that about New York City. And even our sleep formula, it works amazing, and everyone needs more sleep, and it's it's fun to be creating the life we love, having fun doing it, and really believing in the impact that it could be having, just even across Manhattan.
What are some of the other local businesses in the community that have supported Blue Forest Farms?
A lot. I really appreciate our lawyer. He's so informative, super fun. He loves the cannabis industry, Steve Sizu, and just really helping push the movement forward. And I just really appreciate that. We need support, the cannabis industry, for sure.
How can we fix New York's burgeoning adult use cannabis industry?
Well, a big part of it right now is the regulations that aren't allowing us to do any marketing, nothing, barely social media. You can't use the word THC. You can't market it even in a high-end way that we are. And I know there's people trying to get that worked out, and I think that's one of the biggest ways. And some of the regulations, you can only have 10 milligram gummies, and the indoor flower thing, I think, because then you can't compete with the bodegas and who's bringing in other product from California. If we want it to be a New York market, which I support, then we've got to allow some for us to be able to compete in all ways on all the products.
I didn't want to get political, but you've definitely gone down that path now. How have the illicit stores operating in your neighborhood impacted your business?
I can't say, and I'm more of a, there's more than enough for everyone, and it's total abundance. But my partners don't necessarily feel that way, and But I also, again, I don't think it's the same clientele. I'm not that concerned about it. And I know that there's budget going towards cracking down on, and bottom line, we did go through a lot to get licensed, and you're not. But I think it's created this really interesting momentum though too, and everything's purposeful.
Tell me about the demographic of the community that you're serving here. What do your customers look like? Who's coming in the door?
Yeah, all over. I love it here. I'm used to a little bit more midtown area, which is super cool, high end. There's everyone here, and I love that about cannabis. I mean, you know, you have the 70-year-old grandma coming in that you definitely think she's here for CBD, and she's going straight to the back, and tons of students, and you know, people are coming and love the fact that we're licensed and we're right in the neighborhood. I mean, I love this area too. It's super residential, and I love a, you know, dispensary right outside my door, and you keep hearing that, and it's fun seeing everyone come in.
Trina, thank you so much for the time. Really excited to share your story with everyone. If people want to learn more about you and the brand, how can they find out more? Where are you located? How do they get to you?
Cool. Our dispensary is at 122 East 25th Street on 25th between Park and Lexington, and we're all over Blue Forest Farms and RIG, and also the dispensary has its own page. We'll definitely have delivery and pickup soon. And I want to personally we are so grateful for our connection. I mean, regardless, we have this license together, and I know I would never want to do that application. And I think we're going to do so much more stuff together, so.
Trina, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.